Okay guys, how's it going? I know it's been a little while since I posted another video, but I was finally able to get, I don't think you can get it through see it through the tint on the outside, but my rear facing dash cam, the rear camera. So I've had the camera forever. The problem was the cable that came with it was nowhere near long enough to do what I wanted to do. And for this is the Vantrue E2. If you remember part 1, if you ever saw that video when I got the front cam installed. So it takes like a special cable. I couldn't just get like a 30-foot cable off Amazon. I actually had to order it from E2, which of course came from China. Took forever to get here. But this cable is, I think it's 29.5 feet when all is said and done. And I wish it was like, gosh, a foot, 2 feet longer. I could have centered it on the window. As it is, I just barely had enough to fit it here, but I was able to make it work. And you know what? It works just fine. Like a couple inches on the window, it's still like the picture looks just fine looking at the rear. But what I did, excuse me, and what I'm kind of proud of this, because I couldn't find any videos about this. So this cable is actually run under the truck. So how I did it is it's run along the interior of the topper, and then right here it snakes through, and that's where it actually exits the back of the bed. And I have the cable wrapped. Let me hop under. I'm not going to crawl under the whole truck, but let's see if I can show you guys. So this is the cable. See, I've got it wrapped, and it's zip tied, and it just runs the whole length of the truck, basically along the gas tank. Just zip tied along the way. This is actually the worst connection point. Everything else just makes perfect sense. It's in line with a lot of the other wires on the truck. So it runs the whole length of the underside. The lights sit up. So it runs, yep, all the way along the interior. And it actually comes up into the engine bay from the inside. And you can almost see, I think you might be able to see it, where it actually enters the cab. I'll get a better angle on my camera. Right down here. So that right there where my finger is just barely not touching. That's the cable from the camera. That's where it actually goes into the cab of the truck. So that's the pass through from the fire door, or firewall I should say. So it comes in right here. Guys, I will say this by far was the biggest pain in the ass part. This took me forever because I had to basically, there's like 2 sides to that rubber. I didn't want to take the rubber out, so I ended up kind of cutting a little bit of a hole, and it just, to get a hole big enough for the tip to slip through without it being too big, what a pain. That took me probably like 2 hours. I probably could have done it a better way. I was trying to be minimal, and like there was probably a better way to do it, but that was the biggest pain in the ass. And then what I did was I took a snake and snuck down from the top. So I took off this A-pillar cover, so then took the entire thing off so you could see the airbag. It's exactly what I did on the other side with the front cam connected to where it's hardwired to the fuse box. So basically the front cam goes to the B pillar, the rear cam comes up through the A pillar. But once I took this off, I was able to snake down through here and get a snake down to connect from the underside. So the cable actually runs up through the A pillar, and then I put up in the ceiling, runs along the ceiling. I took off the ceiling console to help with that. I marked up the carpet a little bit, got a little grease on that. That was fun. And then it ends up coming down right here on the other side. So the camera is on, let me move my finger, because I've been knocking the truck, so it's got the motion capture, that's why I kicked on. But this is the rear cable right here, and so it comes along and attaches on this side of the camera. So I don't know if you can quite see, but in the upper corner of the screen, we actually have rear image. It's just looking up at the sky right now since the door is up, and now it's turned off. But yeah, so it's really subtle, it's really hidden. I'm really proud actually and pleased at how this job turned out. The most you see of this cable is just right here, sticking out just a tad because the 2 cables are competing for space. But yeah, it's tucked up in here. I did take a little bit of ticky tack, is what I grew up calling it, or like that sticky putty, you know, that you get like at office supplies. And I put a little bit up here on the interior of the ceiling just to keep any excess cable from flopping down. It's not like there's much, but there was just enough that I could see just a little bit when I was driving. So the cable is fully hidden. It's fully protected. Obviously it's encased, so if there's weather, it'll be fine. But I saw several videos. Correction, I saw just one video of a guy who actually connected a rear camera on his topper, and that guy talked about coming in through the back of the cab and basically sneaking under the floor. I saw a video of a guy who snaked his cable. He didn't have a topper, but he snaked the cable for his rear cam of his truck along the ceiling. And what really made sense to me was like, all right, let's enter through the firewall up front. If I can snake all the way up front and come up through the A-pillar, that's going to be the easiest. That's going to be the most hidden and well protected. And so that's what I ended up doing. So the camera itself is mounted. Yes, there's a tint on the window. I think it's 50% what I got put on. You have to check that video. I don't remember off the top of my head, but it sees just fine. Sees at night, totally fine. So that's really it, and it just comes down that way. So that is the Vantrue E2 rear cam, the part 2 of getting that dash cam. I got the dash cam up months and months ago. I finally got the rear camera on, and it works just fine. Just got back from a 3-hour one-way trip in the truck with the wife for Christmas, so I'm about to wash it today, and it's gonna be great. And so sorry it's been a minute. I've actually done a cross-country trip in the truck that I haven't chronicled or talked about in my videos at all, so I'll try to release a couple videos here talking about some of the gear I started carrying. But that's it for the rear camera, and we'll talk to you guys next time. Thanks.